Hello, 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 filter-free America listeners. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. Welcome back to the Filter-Free America podcast. Hey, real fast, before I jump into the description of this episode that you're about to hear, let me jump right back to the last episode that we had here on the Filter-Free America podcast, surviving my sister's suicide. Not my sister's, that's the title of the episode if you didn't check it out. First off, thank you. Thank you so much for the huge response that particular episode got. Megan was very open and talking about something that is very difficult to talk about regardless, but talking to it in a weird recording studio like mine, to me, virtual stranger to her, was a very difficult task, I'm sure. And I really appreciate her making that effort. And so many of you have too. Thank you for the many emails and some text messages and such that I got on the subject of the story of a survivor of suicide. And I know it's kind of awkward to say a survivor of suicide. When you lose a loved one to suicide, you become a survivor. But regardless, it definitely has struck a chord with many of you, and I'm glad you guys listened, of course, but I'm glad also that you were able to take away something from that episode. It was definitely one of the more powerful episodes that we've had here. If you come here for funny episodes, it definitely wasn't a lot of humor, no humor at all for the most part in that episode, but I like to tackle everything. I like to make you laugh. I like to make inappropriate jokes, but I also like to tackle some of the harder and issues that you're maybe not going to get somewhere else. So that's really good. One thing I did want to point out when speaking with the guest after the fact, when she listened back, she realized she had misspoke on a pretty important detail, and I just want to clarify there. And she talks about when she looked at her sister's phone records to try to see who she had called previously after her suicide. She misspoke and said that she found a sex abuse hotline number that she had called, and it was actually what she meant to say was sexual assault hotline number. Now that seems like maybe a small detail to you as a listener, but you got to think when you say sexual abuse, that may imply that maybe a family member or something had been sexually abusing her sister, and that wasn't the case at all. If anything, there was she possibly experienced a sexual assault that may have contributed to her state of depression and leading to her suicide. But it was an important detail to the guest, and I wanted to make sure I got that across to you guys as well too, because it's a very important detail. I mean, it's definitely something you don't want to imply and on accident. So it wasn't a sexual abuse hotline number that her sister had called. It was a sexual assault number. So I hope that clears that up. If anybody was thinking that in the audience, nobody messaged me asking me about that. So maybe you guys also assumed it was they had just misspoke. So that is clarified. But regardless, if you haven't listened to that episode and you're curious in a healthy way about learning about suicide, definitely check out that episode. It's going to give you a very unique perspective from the point of view of a suicide survivor. All right, let's leave that one alone now, because this next episode you're about to hear is a fun conversation, right? A fun conversation. We need that, right? We got to mix them in, right? We got to have some serious topics. We got to have some fun topics. We got to be some irreverent. We've got to be focused. We got to have a little bit of everything here in Filter Free America. And this one came right on time, following up that last episode. The guest in this episode is a good friend of mine, good friend and comedian, Josh Florhaug. Josh started comedy right here in the Twin Cities. Then over the last year or so, he has made the leap to LA, the LA comedy scene. Okay. So that jump to the LA comedy scene is basically the backbone of our conversation. But the stories that come from it are pretty wild. Okay. Louie Anderson is Josh's uncle. So of course, he shares some Louie stories, including a little info on his upcoming movie, Coming to America 2. If you've never seen Coming to America, you're a fucking communist. You need to get the fuck out of the country. No, I'm just saying, if you've never seen Coming to America, what's wrong with you? I mean, question every decision you ever made in life. But Coming to America 2, I think that's the name of it. I looked it up and it says that on the Movie Magic website thing. So I guess they weren't very clever with the name. It's just Coming to America 2. But that's coming. It's and we talk a little bit about that in the podcast. But the stories don't end with just Louie Anderson related stories. Okay, look at this. Listen to this. This is my short list of crazy things we talked about. There is a Bob Saget story. Yes, that Bob Saget. There's an Andrew Dice Clay story. Yes, that Andrew Dice Clay. Not to be confused with the many other Andrew Dice Clays out there. There's also two different stories about dead bodies. Go figure, right? 2 dead bodies that Josh actually saw. 2 different stories, right? Not the same body. There's no relations to the deaths at all. 2 stories. And if that's not enough for you, there's also a Gary Busey and Dane Cook combo story, right? Like both of those people are in the same story, as weird as that fucking sounds. Also, Josh is in that story too. He's the kind of the middleman between Gary Busey and Dane Cook, if you could picture that shit. I don't know. So all that in this one episode, right? So that's going to be fun. The whole deal there. I will point out, Josh is a lispy gentleman, and we love him for that. But me being the semi-pro recording engineer that I am, I don't know if I can. If I maybe set up the microphone right to deflect some of his lisp. Because I had to do a lot of editing magic, as it were, to try to bring some of that lisp down. I don't know. I think I need to address how to do that to one of my recording instructors. But if it sounds a little poppy in there, I apologize. It's not super bad. I cleaned it up quite a bit. But there's going to be a pop here or there. And, most of you probably wouldn't even have recognized it if I wouldn't say anything. But that's just how my fucking retarded brain works. Not the disrespectful retarded, I'm just retarded guy. Retarded. So you might notice that as well too. What else I want to say? Oh yeah, let's talk about the sponsors real fast. Sponsor of the podcast as always is simplewebsite.us. Simplewebsite.us. One more time, simplewebsite.us. Go to simplewebsite.us if you're getting ready to build a Squarespace website. Why do you need to go there? Few reasons. Number one, let's say you're like me and you have no computer skills whatsoever. All right. Go to simplewebsite.us, tell them what you want, and they will just build it for you. Okay. There you go. Now maybe you got a few computer skills. Maybe you're slightly better than I am. Whatever. Fuck you. Okay. You want to build your own website? Fine. Okay. But just go to them and they can help you with 1 or 2 things that you may be having some difficulties with. Or maybe you've got a site built and you just want a few improvements that you can't figure out. They'll be more than happy to help you with that too. Also, let's say you're a fucking brainiac. You're super smart. You got all the fucking computer skills in the world. Okay? Do it. Go to simplewebsite.us anyway, because you'll find some free tips and tricks to add to the skills that you apparently already have that I'm never going to have. Because I dropped out of school to sell drugs. But whatever, okay? That's my story. That's not your story. That is mine. The point is, go to simplewebsite.us. Simplewebsite.us. Anything else I need to do business-wide? Oh, please make sure you're subscribing. Please make sure you're fucking giving reviews and star ratings and whatever it is. If it's a thumbs up, or maybe you're on some weird porno site and you've somehow got a stream to the podcast and you give like 3 dicks up or 5 dicks up. Give as many dicks up as you can on the porno/podcast website. That I probably should just invent that shit. I don't know if that even exists yet or not, but that's my idea. Don't take it. Oh, God. Anything else? That's it. Oh, I did. Since Louie Anderson does make a topic appearance in this episode, and we do talk about him in a sizable chunk of it, I'm going to use that as an excuse to trigger some fun memories from my childhood and play a very special song in the beginning of the episode. So be ready for that. Anything else? I think that's it. I think we've got everything covered. Make sure you like the Filter Free America podcast Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe, and make sure you Say your prayers, brothers. I don't know. Don't say your prayers because it's useless. And unless you think it's good. If you think it's helpful, then you go right ahead. You do you. You do you. Okay. This episode needs a title. We're going to make it really simple. My Comedy Life in LA with Josh Florhaug. How's that? Does that work? Is that okay? Everybody who approves of the title, say aye. Aye. Okay. There's nobody else in here but some snakes, and they don't have arms, so they can't raise their hand, and they don't talk. All right. My Comedy Life in LA with Josh Florhaug right here on Filter Free America. Let's go.
All right.
Let me tell you about my family.
Hey, here we go now, it's that time again. Let's take a look and see what's happening. Roller coaster ride, no surprise. It's life with Louie, Louie, Louie. Life with Louie, Louie, Louie. It's life with likable, lovable, completely huggable. It's life with Louie.
All right. So let's start by talking about you plotting, planning, going to LA, preparation to get you there. How many years in were you when you said, all right, it's time to go to LA?
I was 6 years in. I took about a year off for medical stuff. So let's say 5 years of actually doing stand-up.
Okay.
And I was like, it's now, not now or never, but it was like, it's redundant to stay here.
Okay.
I've done everything I've ever wanted to in this city. If I'm going to try to make a push, right now is the time.
Okay.
It was just this whole thing that kind of all the stars aligned. I was working the road. I was featuring, headlining a little bit, but it was like, what am I going to do? Stay here and become a headliner? I'm not going to get more than 10 minutes in LA anyways.
Right.
So just take the solid 10 minutes I have, bring it there, and try to go for broke.
What were when you're going through this decision process, this is how I do things, pro con list, pro this, con that. What were you worried about? What were your first fears, like making this decision?
Just affording it.
Okay.
Everybody always says LA's super expensive. It's not as expensive as people think. I mean, it costs a lot of money to live there and blah, 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 but stuff pays more. It was that. And then it's the anxiety of, especially being an artist, like, are you worth it? It's like, I'm great here, but am I great there? And I dove in without ever visiting LA's comedy scene.
Really?
I'd never performed there until I moved there.
You never went there just with
Nope.
Louie? None?
Nope.
Okay.
Just jumped right in it.
Okay. Ballsy.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to LA like on vacation or anything?
When I
Like pre-comedy?
Yeah, when I was in cheerleading, we went to nationals there. But it was just like the Disneyland compound. And then my grandma lived there because she worked for
Nothing gives you a false sense of LA like going to Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's complete.
I'd never been to LA. That's the best.
There's
way
very
to-
little heroin and It's a Small World.
Yeah.
It's really not a
It's
big-
not LA. Disneyland is its own city.
Right.
And
Like
then-
going to the Vatican. You're not
Yeah.
really in Italy. This
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Oh, to the Vatican. No, you didn't. You didn't go to Italy. You went to the Vatican.
There.
Also, I went there when I was 14. My grandma lived out there.
Okay.
So she lived in Burbank. Went swimming at her house. Went to Louie's house. And then again,
Another false sense of LA is
again Disney and Universal.
Burbank is like the old folks Disneyland.
It is. Burbank has a lot of chain restaurants.
So let's talk about what were your finances when you went? What was your nut that you took?
My nut was 10 grand. I took 15. My fiance brought $5 grand. So
Is that why she was your fiance? Because she had an extra $5
she
grand.
had $5 grand. I paid for most everything.
Okay.
If anything, I was her rock.
So between the both of you had
$20,000.
$20,000.
And that lasted us about 3 or 4 months.
3 or 4 months.
Yeah. I mean, we still have some of that money. That money still, like, there's a lot of that still in my savings account, but I didn't want to go to $0.
Now you're one of the rare comedians who didn't have any kind of drug habit or anything to support.
No, yeah,
so,
I had quit drinking 2 years before that.
Right.
I didn't smoke weed even until I moved there.
Right.
And then I was like, I'm going to try this because it's legal. Love it.
Right. Told you. I've been telling you for years.
Yeah, you have. It's cool.
It
know
makes
how
you
people
cool.
You know how people say drugs aren't cool? They've never tried drugs.
All right. Wait till
Drugs
you
are
get
super cool.
wait till you get to cocaine. Things get really better.
I've done cocaine 6 times.
since in LA.
No, I've never done it in LA. I haven't done cocaine in 3 years.
Nice.
My liver doesn't process alcohol. My doctor didn't say I shouldn't do cocaine, but I think he implied.
Of the things you shouldn't do.
Yeah, he was like, you
Add
should
alcohol.
stop drinking. I'm like, so should I start doing cocaine?
Actually, in your case, it may be better on your body then.
I mean, does it process through the liver?
No.
If it doesn't, then yeah, it's way better for my body than alcohol. Anything that doesn't process through the liver, I'm good with. My doctor's only worry when I was like, should I smoke weed for like pain? Because I take Vicodin occasionally. And I was like, should I do weed for pain? And he's like, no, because then that might make you want to drink. And I was like, have you ever smoked weed?
I was going to say, I
I've
don't
never
drink
been
at all,
high,
but
and
I
I'm
love
like, you
weed.
know what I could use now? Shots.
No shit.
I'm like,
What
you know
a
what I could
fucking
use now?
dumb
More
doctor.
tacos.
Fuck that doctor.
I'm like, I could Postmates McDonald's.
So, did you already have a place when you went there? Or?
We found a place on Craigslist a month before we moved.
Okay.
And then we FaceTimed with them, and then I started sending them rent.
Really?
They could have been robbed.
I was going to say, did you worry about it being shady?
I
or
didn't
anything?
worry about them. They're super big nerds.
Okay.
And I mean that in a nice way. Love you, Travis, Indiana.
Are they entertainer nerds?
Yes.
Okay.
She was a stunt woman. Now she's going to medical school to be a physical therapist. And then he teaches theatrical combat arts, so sword fighting and fake fighting at a arts college.
He definitely sounds like a nerd.
Yeah. We have 400 Nerf guns on our hallway wall. We have like a John Wick style arsenal. Like, you know in Men in Black where they pull that wall out and it's full of guns?
Right.
That's what our hallway looks like with Nerf guns. They're all tacked to the wall. And like there's like clips.
So like
and
the
stuff.
opposite of this studio right now.
Yes.
But less.
Yeah, it looks like the studio, but like a lot more neon. It's like if all your guns were neon
Right. I could paint them that way.
and didn't shoot real bullets.
But I would like to have a Nerf. After I get done building my real arsenal, I'm going to add some Nerf.
You could get a Nerf arsenal for the price of an AR-15.
Probably.
Where AR-15 is like $1,800.
Good ones.
Yeah, you could buy a shitload of Nerf guns. Nerf guns are like $15.
Nice. So did you...
FaceTimed with them, and then...
Were you worried about like personality conflicts, or was any of that stuff going on? Or?
Not with them, because I am pretty nerdy too. So like that was
You
like
are.
this weird perfect fix. It was like, wow. And then we live in a 3-bedroom house, and it's just the two couples. The third bedroom is his online comic book store.
Okay. Yeah, he's definitely a nerd.
Yeah, so he has an online comic book store. So that's just full of inventory and then some 3D printers where he makes stuff.
Okay. Oh, damn, this guy's... I want to go live with him now.
He's the best.
Move out so I can move out.
I know. He has a
What-
12 terabyte hard drive that's backed up through Plex that he gives me access to, so I can watch like every
I
movie
don't understand anything you just said. That's way too technical.
We have a lot of movies.
Okay, I got that. What's the cost of renting a room in that type of situation? And where are you at geographically?
I'm in
LA?
Glendale, which is right in between North Hollywood and Burbank.
Okay.
So I'm like, if we're going to use Minnesota as an example, I'm in like Maplewood or White Bear Lake. As far as getting to like Hollywood or comedy, everything takes me about a half hour, 45 minutes to get to.
How far do you have to walk to get heroin?
To get heroin, I live in a safe town, so heroin is, I don't think it's super abundant
Okay.
in where I live, which is kind of unsettling because I kind of want to get into it.
Right.
It's super.
Don't we all?
It's super popular. It looks like it's never done bad for anybody.
Right.
I see people on it.
Everybody succeeds on heroin.
I see people on it. I'm like, they look like they're having a good time. But
Any crime at all?
not really. We have a lot of
Where's
Armenians.
the closest gang initiation?
We have a lot of Armenians, so I think it's like a lot of Armenian mob stuff. There's a kebab place a block from my house that I've never seen anybody
So
at.
you get a better chance of dying by cologne overexposure.
Yes, I can die from getting hit by a bunch of white BMWs.
Nice.
That's where they all are in my city.
Really?
And they like to also have a lot of entitlement where they park in the middle of the street and then just turn their hazards on because they think that's how you can do it.
Oh,
So it's a lot of
fools
that.
the cops every time.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's fine.
Did you tell me dollar amount? What's the dollar amount for the room?
The room is $850 a month.
Okay.
$850 a month for a bedroom.
For a bedroom.
For a bedroom.
But you get access to the kitchen and bathroom and all
Nope,
that.
they don't let me use it.
You got to go outside with the rest of the homeless.
I'm in a master bedroom. So I have
Oh,
a bathroom in my bedroom.
Okay.
So I can hear my fiance shit.
I don't think you're allowed to call it master in California.
Nope. My when I sit on the toilet, my
It's the
knees,
privilege bedroom.
my knees touch the wall when I poop.
Really?
In the bathroom. It's definitely a put on there, like not to code.
Okay.
It has a stand up shower, a sink, and then a toilet. But it's in a real confined thing.
Is it house or apartment?
Duplex.
Duplex. Okay.
Yep.
You got a backyard?
Yeah.
Oh.
We
you're
have
doing good then.
it's weird. We have a side yard and a backyard, so we've divided it up between the two houses. So the backyard is the upstairs people, and then the side yard is us.
Oh, okay.
So there's like it's kind of like divided by like a little shed. So we've kind of just split it up. It's cool.
Okay.
We have a little fire pit.
Did you have a job when you got there?
Nope.
Like a square job, not counting
Nope.
company?
Didn't get one for 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah. I got a job at Trejo's Tacos, which is Danny Trejo's Tacos restaurant.
Oh, no
and
shit.
I quit that right away.
Why?
Because I got a job with Marriott.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I got a job with
Just a better job, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got a job.
Danny didn't come in there and slap you around or anything, did he?
No, I didn't get to meet Danny. It's really sad. I work in Beverly Hills though, at the Beverly Hills Marriott, and I get to meet a ton of celebrities,
Oh,
like athletes that I'm big fans of, and then I met Brad Pitt too.
okay.
I waited on him. No story there. Brad Pitt was super boring. He had a breakfast burrito and orange juice, just like anyone else.
Just ruined, just dispelled all my illusions of
Yep.
him.
Oh yeah, and our breakfast burritos aren't great. It's just like scrambled eggs and like cut up link sausage and then some green peppers.
Did he
And
like it?
Yeah, I was like, "How is this?" He goes, "Great," and I was like, "No, it's not."
This is better than half my films.
I was like, "This is just a bigger McDonald's breakfast burrito." Don't say great.
I just had my first McDonald's breakfast burrito the other day. I had a bite of Nikki's breakfast burrito. It's the first time I've ever had a breakfast burrito ever, and I was very disappointed. It tastes like mostly tortilla.
Oh yeah, McDonald's breakfast burritos are hit or miss. I love them.
Yeah. Does it pay good? What you doing?
Yeah, I'm a server. I serve in the morning so I can do comedy at night, and I make $17 an hour plus tips.
Nice. That is good.
And I bring down usually about $150 a day in tips.
Okay.
So it's great.
Yeah, that's real good.
Yeah.
You're not you. If you just were doing that, you could survive.
Yeah, if I was working like super full time, like I work 30 hours a week,
Okay.
and my
Damn, that's nice. So that's not.
yeah, and my tips go on my check, even with like high California taxes and me paying $60 a check for medical insurance and everything. I bring home like $1,500 every 2 weeks
Is the insurance through the state or is it through
Marriott.
Marriott? Okay.
Shout out to Marriott. Thanks for all the help.
So you're comfortable.
Comfortable.
Not missing any meals.
My girlfriend's a nanny. She makes crazy money.
Really?
Yeah.
She nanny for somebody famous? Or
No
somebody
one
rich?
famous, but they work behind the scenes in entertainment in higher up
Really?
jobs. I don't think I'm at liberty to say what they do, but they definitely
So
work.
they're the Illuminati for
They're
sure.
in the Illuminati. They're not. They spend a lot of time at home.
Okay.
It's really weird. Like she'll be like, the parents were home all day, and I'm like, why you worked? And she's like, yeah, they kind of hung out in their room.
Right?
I was
They
like-
don't have to put up their kids.
Yeah,
I know
it's
they're
just 1 2-year-old, so I get it. 2-year-olds suck.
brought your girlfriend with you. We mentioned that. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like bringing sand to the beach. Weren't you thought you were going to be missing out?
I like
when you
fat
go there?
girls, so
I'm sure there's a few in LA. So
they
really,
get all skinny real fast.
they just take them out back and shoot them.
Yeah, they don't let the fat people live there.
Really. That's
Yeah.
why I haven't gone yet.
Yeah, I know. They're not letting all the thick women in.
They weigh you before you get off the
That's why they
plane.
make Lizzo live here still.
Okay.
But yeah, I brought she loves helping me chase my dream, and that's something rare to find. I mean, you have that. You get to have a podcast studio in your
No,
house.
she wants me to quit every single day.
Well, yeah, they all do,
Right.
but they say they support it.
Right.
They out loud are like, you.
I always get I pick on her all the time because she my girlfriend, she's a huge country music fan.
Yes.
I'm like, I do entertainment too, kind of.
Yeah, it's the same thing. You're the Dirk Bentley of stand-up comedy.
Totally. I wish I was that successful in comedy.
Yeah, or good looking.
Or life.
Or good looking.
Yeah, or half as good looking.
Yeah, she's from a small town in Minnesota, so I think she was very into the idea of going to LA. That was kind of a culture shock for her because, like we've already previously mentioned, my uncle is Louie Anderson for the listeners.
Right.
The week we got there, he was making the push for the Emmys because he got nominated that year for Baskets.
Right.
So he was doing a ton of panels, and he wanted us to go with.
Right.
So Morgan and me went from being in Minnesota. Like I've done some entertainment stuff. I've been on TV a couple times. So I've got to like loosely play in entertainment. But now we're sitting in Hollywood in a green room for the Emmys, for Emmy panels, just with celebrities all trying to make their push for why their TV show deserves to be nominated and win.
Right.
And I'm just sitting with the Comedy Central guys from Drunk History, Nathan Fielder for Nathan For You, the Broad City Girls, and the Baskets, the people from Baskets, Zach and Martha and Louie. And we're just drinking lemonade, and I'm like, what the fuck is LA? I'm a week into living there. I'm not even unpacked.
Right.
And I'm sitting with everybody I watched on TV.
Well, for her, how she take was it?
She was just...
Did you guys go
floored.
home at night and just have to decompress? Like, did we just do that?
She did it the second we left the building.
Okay.
She just said, what the fuck is my life?
All right.
She's like, I grew up on a horse ranch. And now I just had Sarah Silverman hand me a strawberry lemonade because she was already pouring one.
Right.
Because, again, in this panel, everybody from every network is making a push. It's an all-day thing.
Right.
They don't know who me and Morgan are. Not everybody's watching every show.
Right.
So they're like, oh, they probably, when we're in the green room.
What show are they guys on?
Yeah, they assume that we're also making a push.
Oh, no, we're from Real Life. Oh, that's a show? I love that show. Real Life? That's
Real
great.
Life? Oh, it's on my DVR. I've heard such good things.
Right.
Because everybody's just trying to be positive to each other.
Right. Explain that now, because that's the thing.
Oh, in LA, like everybody
It's
says
not
Minnesota
cutthroat in
nice
LA, like-
is a thing. Oh, LA, everybody is genuinely nice to everybody because LA's a fucking crapshoot.
Right.
There's no rhyme or reason behind getting famous.
Right. Well, explain to him why everybody has to be nice to each other. Why?
Because
is that?
here's the deal: like every network is setting in stand. I mean, I only know from the stand-up comedy angle, and I know people who work in entertainment, like behind the scenes. Like every network just has people going out and watching plays, watching stand-up comedy, watching all this like not low-level entertainment, but not super professional entertainment, to see if they can find this next star, this next
That
person they're
diamond in the
looking
rough
for.
that they can
Diamond in
develop.
the rough. So every network is trying to develop people and trying to find their next that guy, that girl, that person. And so everybody's nice to everybody who's remotely good at anything, because that's how you're gonna get helped.
Right.
Is like, oh, my friend Brian is super funny. He just got a show. He gets to do some casting for writing. Me and Brian are friends. I'm also funny. He's going to bring me along to write.
Do you think you don't really have anything to compare it to because you weren't there before?
Yeah.
But I wonder if that changed, or if maybe it wasn't like that before. I don't know.
It definitely was.
It was. Like that?
Louie got Coming to America because he bought Eddie Murphy a cup of coffee at the Improv.
No shit.
He was getting a soda. Eddie ordered a coffee. Eddie had already been pretty famous by that point. And
Remind everybody who wasn't born pre 1990 what Louie did in Coming to America. I forget his character's name, but he was at McDougal's.
He worked at McDougal's. He was working, I believe, washing the lettuce.
Right.
His job was to wash the produce, but he was working his way up the McDougal's chain.
What was his line?
He was like,
By
I
next
start
week I'll
on
be
the
on
lettuce,
fries.
and next week I'll be on fries, and then I move to the grill, and that's where the money starts coming in.
You know, I started on cleanup just like you guys. But now, see, I'm washing lettuce. Soon I'll be on fries, then the grill. A year or two, I make assistant manager. And that's where the big bucks start rolling in.
I got to rewatch that again. He was one of the best characters of the little bit parts. He was one of the best ones.
They are finished filming the sequel.
Is he in the sequel?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. He was in Atlanta for 4 days filming the sequel.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
It is.
I bet you can't say anything if you know anything. I
Yeah,
bet he has his own McDougal's franchise at this point.
I don't know. I can't tell you that. He couldn't tell me that. He said he'd tell me it when we hung out, and
Right.
we haven't hung out since then because he just did it like 3 weeks ago.
That's
and he was
fucking awesome.
sick. He was in town doing pitches in LA, and he's like, "I'm sick, and I don't want to get you sick because you have to travel all week." He's super sensitive towards that because he hates getting sick. He hates people getting him sick.
Right.
So he's just like, "I'm sick, and if I get you sick, I'm going to feel bad."
Right.
Because I think he wants me to feel bad when I get him sick, but I don't.
You're too successful to feel bad for.
I know. He's like, if you're sick, you shouldn't do the show. And I'm like, no, I need $400. I would do the show with AIDS.
Right? Just change the microphone. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, it's like, whatever. Just take a NyQuil.
Part of your confidence to go to LA was the fact that you had your uncle was Louie Anderson.
Yeah, my uncle's Louie Anderson. I had a lot of help. I've got to do a lot of cool things in the first year that I don't think I would. I mean, I feel that I'm talented. I think I'm a very funny comedian. I don't want to like super hype myself, but I get a lot of laughs. I do well. And I think I've proven that by getting booked back at everywhere Louie's helped me get in.
And anybody listening to the show who doesn't, I don't want anybody to take this as Louie made him a comedian.
Louie did not make me a
I knew
comedian.
Josh when Josh started. Josh worked hard to be a comedian.
I didn't tell any. Joey Vincent was the only one who knew Louie was related to me for 6 months.
Really?
Yeah. Remember when Joe Roberts booked me to work with Louie without knowing Louie was my uncle? Because you had me MC for you at the wine cellar.
Okay. And he didn't know at that
No,
time?
he didn't know.
I used to do a lot of drugs back then. I
Yeah.
do a lot of drugs now, but
Yeah.
I did a lot more then.
He booked me to work with Louie. That's how Louie found out I did stand-up, is because I got booked to work with him.
Oh, that's right. You didn't even tell Louie.
I didn't even tell Louie. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't feel like... Louie's my great uncle. He's not my regular uncle. I met him 3 times before that.
Okay.
So I didn't feel that I mattered.
It wasn't like you just had like an easy path. You did
No.
what all of us do. And
Yeah,
just go to mics
I
and
did
develop
comedy
material.
7 nights a week, 2 times a day.
Right.
I've done thousands of sets.
Okay.
I wasn't like wanted anything given to me.
So you had so everybody knows he was established, working comic,
Yeah,
doing well here,
yeah.
getting paid here.
Louie Louie shout out. He was like, you need to move to LA because Louie was on Baskets, and Louie has a lot going for him right now. And he's like, I think I could really help you right now because that's the way entertainment and fame works. It comes and goes as fast as they come, as fast as they go. So he's like, I got things going on right now, and I can help you. So you need to get out here now. Okay. Because he's like, in 2 years, I could have nothing again. So
you were not thinking about going before he said that?
I was thinking about going, but I wasn't that fast on a timetable. Okay. And then he was like, you need to come out. And I was like, I'm going to save every penny for 9 months. And I just like didn't go to eat, didn't do anything, cut, and save the 20 grand. It took me about 9 months. Okay. Just picking up every shift I could, working. I was doing like some freelance stuff. I was doing comedy. I was bartending. I was doing everything I could. Okay. Got out there, and Louie made some calls for me. He called a bunch of clubs. Because this is kind of a funny story. The moment I pulled into the driveway to unload the cars after we moved, my phone rang, and it was Jay Davis from the Laugh Factory. Right. For the listeners, if you guys remember Dane Cook's Tourgasm, Jay Davis was the one everybody picked on all the time. He was the MC of the shows. Because remember Robert Kelly made him cry? Right. Yeah. Jay, sweetest guy in the whole world. Makes me hate Robert Kelly. I don't hate Robert.
So he's the talent guy now?
He's the talent booker at the Laugh Factory now. He's just a great producer.
He's not doing comedy anymore?
No, he still does stand-up. He still hosts twice a week. But because he runs his own, he books everything. And then like some people have third-party shows at the Laugh Factory that they'll book themselves, but use Laugh Factory comics. Okay. And Jay runs 2 of his own shows that he hosts, and he, I guess, spends extra attention on making great. But he called me and he's like, hey, I want to get you on a show. Louie recommended you. I watch your YouTube. You're fantastic. And I pulled in on a Wednesday. He's like, my show's on Wednesday. We have Jeremy Piven. We have Dane Cook. We have all these people. Come out and watch and meet me. And I was like, all right. So I came out and watched and met him. He got me on 3 weeks later. And you got to go into that set, do or die. Right. You're like, either I make Louie look bad or I murder. And I murdered.
It was a live crowd then. It wasn't like a room full of comics.
No. It's a Laugh Factory show. Godfrey was on the show. Dane was on the show. David Spade was on the show. Okay. Ian Bagg was on the show. And then me.
Were you the first after the MC?
Yep.
Okay.
And I just crushed. And I got off and Jay was like, let's get you more dates.
Nice.
So that's the thing. It's like, if I wouldn't have done good.
Are you a regular now? Is that how it works? The same?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get up as much as famous people, but I get up like once every couple months.
Okay.
And I'll always on Jay's Wednesdays shows. He's had me on one Saturday.
How long are sets? Are they letting you?
15.
Nice.
They're giving me the same as everybody else.
That's magical in LA from what I understand.
Yeah.
At least from
they're giving me the same as everybody else.
Okay.
I've been lucky in that sense since like right when I moved there, I got to do some Laugh Factory stuff. Like my name got established right away. It's like, oh, this guy's a Laugh Factory comic.
Okay.
Like, so I get on relatively big shows here and there.
Now, is that kind of the limit of what Louie could do for you?
Yes.
Just be more of like, here's your chance.
Yep. Yeah.
Get you the chance to swing the bat.
Yep. Louie can get me up to bat. That's all Louie can do.
All right.
And I have to do the rest. And I've been doing the rest ever since. I've worked the Vegas Laugh Factory 4 times, which Louie got me the chance in San Diego, and I got booked for Vegas. So I've always gotten booked back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the thing, like, out here in Minnesota, like, Louie's the most famous person who's not Prince.
Right.
But, like, in L.A., he's a legend.
And when Prince died, Louie became more powerful
yeah.
there.
Yes. He got all those purple clothes sewn together. He wears a lot of velour now. It's weird. He used to just wear T-shirts. The stilettos are weird.
Right.
They're crushed. They're flats now.
It worked good on baskets, though.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, so like he's just another giant famous comedian out there because everybody lives out there.
Okay. Tell me the story about when you first got there, like day one in LA.
Oh, this is funny.
Your first comedy moment is what?
Everybody gives me shit. I'm driving in, and the Jay Davis call was great, but before that, the news broke that Mitzi Shore had died.
So
the godmother of comedy.
You killed Mitzi Shore.
I killed Mitzi Shore. I got to LA, and I was like, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go to the store. It's Mitzi's. Mitzi is dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you had kind of a sad but unique experience.
Crazy, because Louie came to town because Louie is a very sentimental guy. So he obviously came to go to Mitzi's funeral and to the comics version of. I didn't go to like the burial of Mitzi, but I went to the comedy store has never been closed since it was open. They closed down one day to do a thing for Mitzi.
Like a memorial show.
A memorial show. Had all the comics come out and say something nice, and Louie was on the dais. And it was like Dice, who somehow murdered.
Right.
Dice was Dice.
Okay.
He comes out and he's like, I loved Mitzi. He's like, I never fucked her like people thought. He goes, but I fucked her daughter a bunch. Mitzi's family is in the crowd.
Right.
Like, just not people. Like, it's not just Paulie. It's like people who aren't in the.
Is he the only one trying to be funny at this, or is he
Paulie?
No. Is Dice?
No,
is he,
everybody's being hilarious.
Is everybody doing? Okay.
Yeah, everybody's doing funny stuff, but Dice is just looking at the crowd and he's like, Mitzi's daughter had these big cow tits.
Is she in the room?
No. She was like, she passed away as well, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So she was.
Because he fucked her to death.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
She was fake. But like, he's just like graphically talking about fucking her. Which I don't think to this day anybody's ever done that at a funeral.
Right.
Paulie,
That's a hell of a funeral.
Paulie had a very emotional, great funeral. He played a clip show. It was really cool to see. I was in Paulie Short's documentary, so I know Paulie. He's not a friend of mine, but an acquaintance.
He knows your name.
He knows my name, so that was cool to see.
So day one, not only did you kill Mitzi, you're at a memorial service at
that was like
at
a week
the
later.
store.
That was a week later. Yeah.
But who are you sitting with? Who are you
I was
rubbing shoulders with?
sitting with Bob Saget.
That's fucking cool.
Because I was sitting with Louie, because I went with Louie to be like kind of his emotional support dog. He made me wear the vest.
That's hilarious.
I know. But like, yeah, I'm sitting with all the old timers.
Okay.
I'm sitting with Dice. I'm sitting with Bob. A bunch of other people. Bill Burr stopped by to say hi to Louie, tell him how much he loved baskets. Like, a lot of people were doing that.
Right.
Because Louie's such a sensitive, beautiful person that like, Louie's just bawling his eyes out the whole time. So everybody's like coming over and being like, giving him hugs.
Right.
Yeah.
That's surreal though, man. To
Dice,
be in that kind of situation
yeah.
and then being around all those famous comics, guys.
Just everybody I've ever looked up to is in one room.
Right. And they're all sad.
Yeah. Also, Dice told this hilarious story about when him and Louie first went on the road. Like Mitzi sent him on the road together.
Share it. Can you share it?
Yeah, I guess Dice was sitting in a Cadillac convertible. Louie went to go grab food, like at a, like kind of like a drive-up thing, and these two guys start talking shit to Dice, and I guess Louie walked over to their car and just leaned his head in the window, and he went, "I'm gonna fucking rip off your head and spit down your throat." And Dice was like, "What the fuck are you doing? I'm gonna have to fight both these guys." Louie was like, "I don't even remember doing that."
Right. Tell me the story of your dad was there recently, right?
Yeah, my dad came out. My dad knows nothing about stand-up comedy. My dad came out for the Vikings game. This was like kind of another magical moment.
Not to see you. He came
He came for the. I bought him tickets so he
Oh,
can see
okay.
me and to hang out. My dad thought L.A. was just what he saw in the movie
Was it
Boys
like,
in the Hood.
Dad, come see me. I don't know. I'll buy you Vikings tickets.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come.
My dad thought L.A. was what Boys in the Hood movie was.
That's what I think LA is.
Yeah, he came out and he's like, "Wow, L.A.'s you live in a safe environment. I'm not scared anymore for you."
There's way less black people in LA than I
He
thought.
was so scared for me, and then he came out, and then he wasn't worried. But there was a fallout at the Laugh Factory. That's how I get on at the Laugh Factory. Like, I don't get booked.
Right.
It's Ron Funches has something better to do, so they call a bunch of people, and then those people can't do it, and then they call me.
Then you just fill in.
They're like, "Josh, you have an hour to get here, and it's 40 minutes from my house, so I have to just like quit whatever I'm doing and go."
Right.
And me and my dad were hanging out at his hotel just watching Sports Center. The game was the next day. Jay calls me. I get to go do a set. I'm like, "Can I bring my dad?" He's like, because you get an unlimited guest list when you perform there. They still have to buy the 2-drink minimum. But he's like, "You can bring anybody who you want. If you can get people to come out in 20 minutes, that's fantastic."
Right.
So my dad comes out, and it's Godfrey, me, Dane Cook, Ian Bagg, and I think Nikki Glazer.
Okay.
And just a fantastic show. I know Godfrey. I've known Godfrey for years. I've opened for him. I took him grocery shopping one time in a snowstorm, which is a random story. And it's so fun. My dad sees me, and I do great. This is the best part, though. It's the day before the Vikings play the Rams in L.A. It's a Thursday night game, so a bunch of Vikings fans fly in. While Jay's introing me, he's like, "This guy just moved here from Minneapolis," and the crowd erupted.
Right.
Ton of Vikings fans who had nothing to do on the Wednesday come out to the game.
You
So-
timed it perfectly.
And Jay's like, "Oh, we got Vikings fans here?"
Right.
And the crowd's just lit. He goes, "Josh Florhaug." And I couldn't have murdered harder.
Nice.
And Dane's right after me. Dane fist bumps me and says, "Meet me upstairs in the little area where I'll hang it out in." Because there's not a full green room, but there's an upstairs that no one's kind of allowed in.
Somebody sat you down and told you what joke he was going to steal from you?
Dane.
I'm kidding, Dane.
I know. Dane
he's gonna
couldn't
listen
have
to
been a nicer guy. He comes up and he's like, "You were so funny." And I was like, because I'm 32. Dane, that was my demographic. Harmful Swallow is one of the first comedy albums I ever bought. And I got up to say that to him. I was like, "Hey, man, I bought." And he goes, "Nope, don't. You don't have to." He goes, "We're two comics. We both killed on this show. Let's just sit and talk comedy, man." Just immediately was like, "You're on my level. I've just been doing it longer." And it couldn't have made me feel better.
Is that a common attitude for, because, I've met, and worked with some high level comics, but not as many, and definitely not Dane Cook
Not
level.
guys who still at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, no.
There's like 8.
I haven't made it to the MSG fandom level people I've worked with yet. But is that kind of a common attitude?
I don't know.
Or just okay.
I've never met anybody that big.
Okay.
But yeah, me and him chat for the rest of the show. We don't watch any of the show. I go down to watch Godfrey because I know Godfrey. And Godfrey gets off stage and he just points at me because I took him, like I told you, took him grocery shopping like 3 years prior in Minneapolis. And he's like, "You did it. You made it." And me and him are chatting and my dad comes up and my dad only knows of Godfrey through me. This is the only comic he knows on the show. Ian Bagg is a killer. Nikki Glazer is a killer. Dane Cook is Dane Cook.
Right.
And he's just like only talking to Godfrey because my dad comes into the green room.
Just overlooking
That's
all these.
the only famous person my dad thinks is in the room.
He's giving all these famous people like weird
Gary
complexes
Busey.
now. Like, this fucking Minnesota guy doesn't know I'm famous.
Gary Busey also came upstairs and gave Dane a copy of his book that night. Real weird. Dane's hanging out with all of his comics, and then Jay comes over and he's like, "Gary wants to talk to you, Dane." And Dane's like, "I'm busy." And I'm like, "That's fucking Gary Busey." And he goes, "Calm down, Josh." Like, he's like, "Yeah, he's fucking weird." Like, Dane's just like, "Yeah, I know." And
Poor Gary.
He's like, "Whatever." And then Gary's just sitting there and you can see him getting mad because he's like standing in a hallway waiting for Dane to come over. And Jake comes over and goes, "Gary really wants to talk to you, Dane." And he goes, "Fine, I'll fucking go over there." And he goes over and Gary gives him a copy of his book. And he's like, "Look, got a copy of his book. Does anyone want to borrow it after I read it?" Just mocking him.
Holy
but
shit.
Gary's just like, "Yeah, he's going to read it. And then you guys can read it."
Poor Gary. Gary's kind of falling off.
I know. He wouldn't take a picture with me.
Really?
I tried to take a picture with him before the show. And he's like, "I'm not at work." And then after I murdered, I was like, "Suck it, Gary."
Was he nice to you afterwards?
No. He didn't talk to me afterwards.
Fuck you, Gary.
I know.
Be nice to Josh.
And then all these Vikings fans like hounded me and then took me and my dad out tailgating at the game.
No shit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But here's the funny part is we get in the car after the show and after hanging out with all these comics and stuff. And my dad goes, "That Dane guy's really funny."
He's going to make it.
Yeah. My dad's like, "That Dane guy needs to keep at this." Is I think what he said in the car. And I'm like,
I think he's got a future in this business.
Dane sold out Madison Square Garden. He goes, "That guy did? When?" Early 2000s, he was like the biggest comic of all time.
He was comedy in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, he was the biggest. He's resurging his career. And he's like, "Oh, really? You can tell." And I was like, "Yeah, everybody who bought tickets, 80% of the people who bought tickets bought them to see Dane." And he's like, "What about Godfrey?" I was like, "Godfrey's never played Madison Square Garden."
Not yet. He might have worked a shift there in the early part of his career, maybe.
Yeah. I'm like, Caroline's, it seats way less people.
Am I right to think that Dane may have, because he was that guy that kind of got the MySpace, the social media type thing going, but he was a pioneer for comics as far as how to.
He was the king of the internet.
Yeah.
He was the first guy to use the internet as his
tools I use
to
expand my podcast or comedy, things like that.
Well, are
all things he was doing way back in the day.
That's the story of how he got Tourgasm.
Right.
The stand-up tour show is he went to HBO and he was like, "I want to do this." And they're like, "Absolutely not. No one's going to watch that." And then he
But I got 1,000,000 friends.
No, that's what he did. He was sitting in the office and he said, you know who's going to watch this? And he opened his AOL because he used to be like super, he still is. He contacts his fans any chance he gets. He just posts on AIM, "Would anybody watch a show about me on tour?" And just sent it like through a chat room.
Right.
And then just left the computer open and watched this guy's computer have a fucking meltdown. And he goes, "I think we could probably do the show."
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he just basically walked in swinging the dick. He was like, "Here's what we're going to do." He's like, "Watch this. Send. There we go."
Right.
That's your viewership. There it is. They're all on the internet.
Now, the double-edged sword of that now is, because you just told me a story about you talking with managers in LA.
Oh, yeah.
And tell them about that and what their standard is.
The standard is like 20,000 followers on Instagram or else other social media presence.
Is it Instagram like the main one to them?
Instagram's the main one right now.
I need to
think
work
that's
harder
the one
on my
everybody cares
gram, I
about.
guess.
Or like you have a podcast, so if you had 20,000 listeners, yeah, you get a lot of listeners.
19,000 more, I'll be good.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, no manager wants to just take you off a talent. They want you to already. They want you to already be doing it on your own.
Right.
They're like, hey, can we have some of your money? That's basically how they want it.
Yeah.
They want to just walk
You're
in.
buying your way in by, you build the foundation.
They're like, you know all this stuff you did on your own? Well, we want to do that for you, the stuff you could do by yourself, but we want some of the money.
Right.
They just want to be like your assistant.
Right. Or you just do like what Rogan did and you just do all that on your own and just keep doing it and not give it away.
I mean, he also had a career before that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Also, if I was on news radio and then Fear Factor and then also a commentator on UFC, I could also not have manager.
Well, there are. What's a good example? Dan Cummings.
Dan Cummings, yeah.
He's self-made and successful and kind of.
Sean Patton, the same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys have managers, though.
Yeah. But he didn't need any. Like he can sell out a show and he's got a.
I guess Doug Benson, too.
I think he's top 20 podcast. I think.
Yeah.
Dan Cummings is top 20 now.
Dan Cummings is a super good podcast.
Yeah, it is. What else about the business end? What as far as getting in there, things that surprised you or weird interactions on you just trying to make it as a comic? What do you?
There's a ton of weird interactions, man. Everybody you meet is like, it turns into everybody's like just trying to see an angle into someone else.
Really?
That's the whole thing, is everybody's trying to figure out like. Because there is no move. Hollywood changes every day. I mean, people are outraged.
That's like the kind of the cliche look of Hollywood. But is that really real? Is everybody working at a gas station is an out of work actor? Everybody's trying to get their script read. Is
not everybody, but it's not as common as like people make it out to be. Everybody thinks that.
Is there authentic people there? I mean, you're a good person. I know you and I know who you are.
And I think that's why I do well, because I genuinely mean it when I ask people how they're doing. And I think that throws people off. They're like, what? He cares.
But do you get a lot of people talking to you and they feel fake?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's real people. I mean, I don't hang out with a lot of people, but I meet a lot of people. There's a lot of fake people.
Right.
Yeah. God. It's just it's not cutthroat and then cutthroat at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, everybody just wants to get ahead, but everybody's acting like they're not trying as hard as they can to get ahead.
Right.
Like, everybody's just trying to play it cool.
Is there anybody out there who, I'm not counting your uncle because that's, a degree of family, but that are generally like to help other people just because?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like everybody's out to get you or like, trying to get a kickback or trying to.
Like Jay at the Laugh Factory doesn't have to do shit for me.
Right.
He doesn't owe Louie anything. Louie's never, brought him out. I mean, if anything, it was Dane shit because he was on Tourgasm, but like Dane doesn't owe anything to me. It's nice to me every time I'm at the Laugh Factory. Jay puts me up every chance he can. It's like there are good people out there, and there's people who I guess like Jay. I mean, he sees the talent, and he's just trying to put up the best possible people. And there's other bookers and stuff who are doing that, and like Rogan's really great. He always has new comics on. I mean, people he's helped like Hinchcliffe, and he's bringing Ally Mack out on the road. Ian Edwards, who I guess has been doing it forever, but super funny guy. Like, I feel like Rogan always tries to cultivate the people he likes that he sees working the door at the store and stuff like that.
Okay.
I think a lot of those older guys, I think it used to be a lot more cutthroat in the 80s when everybody was getting sitcoms. Like, no one was out to help each other.
Right.
But now that there is so many means of quote unquote making it, I guess there's not as much money. Because like there was only 5 networks in the 80s, so you were getting millions of dollars if you had a show. Now you're getting thousands, but like everybody can have a show now because there's Netflix and Hulu.
Everybody can be their own network now.
Everybody can be their own network now.
Yeah.
So I think if you're doing something cool that people like, people start bringing you into their cool stuff, and it's more of like a help incubator, like an incubator now of like-minded people.
And that goes back to what you're saying about everybody being kind to each other because everybody's trying to never know what's going to pop next, whose podcast is going to explode,
and
or
that's
whose
kind of
YouTube series is going to blow up.
And that's kind of the fun thing because people are nice to everybody, but people only gravitate towards people who do stuff that they like.
Okay.
So now I guess there's more of a variety of like, I'm not hanging out with people who are like, doing soccer podcasts because I don't like soccer.
Right.
I don't not like soccer, but like, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is my way in, because it's not. Like, there's There used to be so few lanes, I think, back in like the 80s and stuff. But now there's so many lanes that everybody just kind of morphs into the lane.
It's almost like a deregulation of fame.
Of
where there used to
entertainment.
be like a very narrow pathway
Yeah.
and few people were gatekeepers, and now you can make your own thing. And now the gatekeepers are just trying to pick and choose who they can, like you said, profit off of.
Yeah.
For right, wrong, or indifferent.
That's the whole deal. And I think the whole deal with people not needing agents to get stuff now and managers and things kind of being their own.
Right.
I think that's scaring a lot of people. So I think that's why agent managers are a little more picky, because they're like, we're not going to get a lot of shot at a lot of people.
Right.
They can do it on their own. We need something that's already tried and true prod. Like, I think that's I'm interrupting myself, but like agents and managers, like they're now so far ahead as far as steps. Like back in the day, you needed one to even get booked places.
Right.
And now you can book yourself. So it's like things that I want right now, like I'd like to do a late night set. I'm working on that. I could do that on my own. I can submit myself. It looks the exact same in an email.
Right.
So I don't need somebody to get me on Conan. I can get myself on Conan. I mean, I have to be funny, but
Right.
if I'm good enough, they'll hire me either way. So like it's the next step that now managers and agents are doing. So I don't think they're selective of like the pillar I'm on
Right.
versus a higher pillar.
And
They're more into helping you pitch shows and creating a network than like getting you on a show on a network.
Right. And it makes sense that about the 20,000 follower thing. I was like, you can have all the talent in the world, but it's cost prohibitive to take somebody from obscurity and build them up.
Think about both of us work in comedy.
There's
Think about all the
got to be a
people-
profit potential in there. So
Yeah. Think about all the people that are killers that haven't done much comedy.
Yeah.
They're not selling out everywhere. They should. They're hilarious. Anybody who comes see them is going to know they're freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But they're not selling tickets, and that's where the money comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all business.
Have you've been there? What would we say, a year now?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that time, have you seen anybody come out there, either somebody you knew or just watching them in passing, just make the total wrong moves and fail miserably? And
Yeah, I see comics do it all the time.
what's the mistakes?
It's just like, I guess, getting a little bit of heat and then like relaxing on it,
Okay.
or like getting cocky when you're getting like just looks, things like that. Like, because you feel like you're on this path that you're like, oh, I've jumped on the train that's going up. I'm gonna become a dick,
All right.
and then that train stops right away, because that's not.
You have to
how
have
it's-
100,000 followers before you can be a dick.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't work like that where you can just give up right away because you think you're on this projection. There is no projection.
Right.
Everything ebb and flows.
That's kind of like what Louie was saying. Is like,
Yeah.
you never know when the fame's going to fall off again.
And I mean,
'Cause
yeah,
it's-
Louis had huge successes and huge not successful times in his career, like 3 or 4 times.
Right.
Louis has made it, and I guess not on made it because he's still selling out stand-up stuff, but like as far as TV and whatnot, like up and down. And so is everybody's career. Tim Allen, everybody who were like, these guys are the biggest. It's like, no, they've had points where they're not.
Right.
They have points where they're obscure.
Yeah. What was did Louis give you? I'm sure he's given you advice, the whole time since he found that you were doing comedy. But what is his
Don't get disheartened.
Okay.
Because that's the whole thing. Like I can go out and crush every night, and just crush and crush and crush, and I feel like I'm getting nowhere. And it's like, I'm so funny, but I'm not getting anywhere.
Right.
I'm out here to get places, and nothing's happening. And he's like, that's not how it works out here. You got to just keep doing it. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep doing it. And eventually, it's just about being undeniable. If you're out crushing every night, eventually somebody's going to figure it out.
What are your plans for building your infrastructure? What are you doing right now besides going out and writing comedy and getting up doing sets? That's a small part of it to get where you want to get as far as being successful. What are you doing?
I'm writing comedy. I'm now filming sets because I want to get on late night. I'm trying to build that. I'm writing pitches for TV shows because Louis can help out with that right now with being on baskets and things like that. I'm starting a podcast with my fiance. I stopped calling her my girlfriend. We just got engaged, so we're gonna get married soon. And that whole deal. I'm just trying to like build a brand, I guess.
Do you want to talk about the podcast?
Yeah.
And-
Yeah, we're starting a podcast. We should be releasing it soon because we've got the format down. Podcasts are so hard, you guys.
Yeah, it's super hard to do.
Joey makes it sound easy, but creating all this like format and making it original and fun is kind of
The hardest part of podcasts is thinking somebody gives a shit about what you got to say.
yeah.
that's
That's what it is. It's just coming over yourself.
You just got to fool yourself long enough to get enough people
Yeah.
to listen.
Yeah, and then just keep doing it and thinking it's the same deal with stand-up.
Right.
Do people care about what I'm saying? No,
Yeah.
they don't. But it's called Morgan's First Time. I'm a big movie guy, and my girlfriend is not. She has not seen Indiana Jones.
She's not a guy at all.
Yeah, I mean, her dick says different.
Right.
No, she hasn't seen any pop culture movies. Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, Star Wars movies, anything that anybody holds dear to their heart film-wise, she hasn't seen it. So we're gonna watch them. We're gonna talk about a movie that she hasn't seen, talk about what she knows about it, and then watch the movie, not recorded. That's the power of pausing.
Right.
Is there's no gap.
Right.
And then we'll talk about if it held up and if it held up to me from what I loved about my childhood.
Do you have a title for it yet?
Yeah, it's called Morgan's First Time.
Oh, you just said that.
Yeah.
I'm not a very good host.
Definitely wasn't her first time when I met her.
Not for that. What else was I wanted to ask you. One of the things that Louie was able to help you with was to get you to do some auditions for Baskets.
Yeah, I did some auditions for Baskets. None of them went well. One of them went really good.
Explain the process. What you were.
The process, I just got emailed.
Okay.
Louie was. And
Was
these
this
are all
for a specific part or?
Yeah, they're all for specific roles. They're all like 1 or 2 line roles.
Okay.
So like not an extra, but not a person in the show.
Just have to get you your SAG card.
Yeah.
Just,
No, I would.
it wasn't even that.
I would. Yeah, I mean, I could get my SAG card, but I could get a voucher to go non-union, so I keep the money.
Okay. Nice.
But you can only do that, I think, 2 or 3 times before they're like, no, you have to join the union if you keep doing this.
Gotcha.
It's like opting out twice. But
So So you didn't? They weren't successful.
they weren't successful. But here's what happened. This is again like Louie getting me something, and then me getting me something more.
Right.
So Louie got me an audition to. I don't know if I can say this. I didn't sign any NDA. The first role was for a hotel employee,
Right. Which you've done in real life. So
which I currently am. I went from work to the audition.
Right.
I'd been a hotel employee for 9 hours before the audition.
Just wore your
I
uniform
was
there.
ready. I didn't. I changed, which was stupid.
I'm method. I really.
Someone was wearing a hotel uniform. I'm like, damn it. I was like, that guy knows what's up.
Right.
But that audition went great.
Okay.
Because I had been a hotel employee forever. And I didn't get it. And then the lady emailed me again. She's like, you didn't get that, but I liked you. I thought you were funny and I thought you were great, but that just wasn't the role for you. I'm going to have you come out again and do this other part. And I auditioned for that, and that didn't go. I did not do good
Is this
at it.
person what they call the casting director?
Yeah, she's a casting director.
Okay.
She works for Baskets and Veep and ton of stuff.
Okay.
And didn't get that. And then she was like,
Well, that's kind of nice when you get somebody who does multiple shows,
Yeah.
because then she can consider you like, oh, I can use him over here
And
in this
she's
other
like,
show.
I have another role. Like, she's like, we like you. There's always someone better comes.
Okay.
So she wrote it nicer than that. But like,
Yeah.
That's all it is. There's no rhyme or reason behind. And all these roles were for like IT worker, or hotel employee, or Costco employee. So it's like stuff that like, there's no look they're going for. This is like any gender, any race. It's like just a crapshoot of people. It's like a bunch of people who don't look like each other all sitting in a room reading the same 3 lines,
Right.
waiting to go in.
What's that tension like in that room right there? Are you guys friendly to each other? It's kind of the same thing. You
Yeah.
never know, that person may be the person who helps you in the
it's
future.
all tension-y, but like I was like so lax because here's the deal: you sign in just on a piece of paper and everybody's writing their management that they're represented by.
Right.
I was the only one who wrote NA. Nope.
NA, I heard of that company. NA, they do really good stuff.
Great. Are you with Brian? Brian at NA? So I didn't get any of them.
I would
But
just make
she
up
teaches
one.
she teaches an acting class.
Okay.
This is the real scam of LA. Is every casting director also has an acting
Of
school.
course they do.
Yeah,
God
because
damn
you know
it.
what? They cast for 10 shows and they're looking for something specific. Why not teach a bunch of people that specific shit?
Right?
make
Or
a little
why
bit
not
of money.
convince people that, if I take her class and give her some money, maybe she'll consider me more.
That's also the same thing.
That's the angle.
Yeah. I thought the angle was I'm going to teach you to do it my way so I can just audition my people and give them roles.
And to make my school seem more successful.
Yeah.
God damn it, that's brilliant.
It's a brilliant scam. They can't do that anymore.
Really?
It was a big thing. It was a big hammer that came down. Josh Denny was telling me about it a couple years ago where like it was like exclusively everybody was doing that.
Really?
Yeah, and then the industry had to come out as like a whole, like SAG had to come out and be like, "Hey, stop fucking doing that."
Right.
They had to be like, just hire people who didn't go to your stupid school.
Oh, man.
And yeah, so that all happened. But I'm gonna take an acting class with her, and I also want to take a voice acting class because I like to do cartoons because I have a childlike voice and I have a lisp.
Is that marketable?
I mean, for probably kid shows.
Okay.
Yeah, people have told me I have a unique voice.
Okay. You do.
Yeah.
It's very lispy.
You're like, yes.
to wring out my microphone sponge when we get done, but it's good.
That's why you got this guard on you. It's like a diaper.
Exactly. What was I going to say? I had something else I wanted to ask you about that. I can't remember. Are you looking for an you don't have an agent now specifically?
No, because no one wants to represent me.
Okay.
Have I met with agents? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Louie get me meetings with agents? Yeah.
And again, it falls down to the numbers thing.
It falls down to just I don't have any heat.
Okay.
But the whole deal is because Louie's so famous. Like they're like, yeah, I'll meet with your nephew, no problem, Louie. And then I'm like, oh, this is where it's gonna happen. And I sit down there, like, this is what you need to do to even be considered. By
do you?
And I'm like, oh, I thought this was a meeting where you were gonna tell me you were gonna help me. And they're like, nope,
No.
I'm gonna tell you what you need to do for yourself to help yourself
Right.
to even think about you.
Is it fair what they're telling you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's a total sad thing because I go into it thinking.
So what are the top 3 things they're telling you that you need to do, or everybody
Create
needs?
my own content.
Okay.
Start a podcast.
That's the podcast.
Yeah. Start a podcast. Do stuff I like. Write sketches. Shoot sketches.
Okay, we know 20,000 followers on Instagram is important. How much do they appreciate a listen to podcast?
Probably still the numbers. I mean, I don't think 20,000. 20,000, I'd just be like, fuck you. I have my own podcast.
Okay.
But like, they just want to see that you have a fan base because
Right.
that's what's going to ultimately help them book you to sell tickets.
Gotcha. That's all. It's all going to circle back to that.
It all
regardless.
circles back to money.
Okay. On the acting stuff, are you doing anything else as far as trying to get in to?
I'm going to take that lady's acting class after Thanksgiving.
Right. But I mean, as far as audition stuff right now, do you?
I have a little bit of stuff. Like you can find auditions on your own. So
Okay.
I've been doing like little ones for commercials and stuff. I haven't got anything, but
Nothing yet. But
nothing yet. Yeah.
you only need one good commercial, one good national ad.
You need one good national ad and you're set. Look
You're
at
good
Flo.
to go. That's all you need.
Flo has $1 billion. She doesn't have $1 billion, but she's killing it.
Right.
She was just an improv person. That's all Flo from Progressive was.
Really.
She was UCB improv.
She's how many years has she been doing that?
It's like 10.
At least 10 years.
I know.
It's fantastic.
She works like 3 minutes a day.
Right. So, coming here to close the episode now, what's the future plans right now? We know we got the podcast going.
We got the podcast going, putting together the late night set, and just really trying to get on Conan before it gets canceled.
Okay.
Because they're moving it to like weekly and stuff. But also submitting to like Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel and all those late night stuff. And then also like there's so many other things going on, like all these Last Comic Standing like shows and stuff. So I'm submitting to everything.
Okay.
It's just every month I sit down and look at like what's coming up submission wise and just sending it out. Trying to get into festivals, trying to get into other stuff.
Here's a question I wanted to ask you about your job. How flexible are they with you doing comedy?
I'm the only one in entertainment who works at my hotel.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems like that's rare. That's strange. So
Yeah.
It wouldn't be.
Oh, also I did a writing packet for the game show Funny You Should Ask.
Oh.
Yeah, I sent that in.
Tell me what a writing packet is. I don't know, honestly.
But at least for the game show, and then for show, because I have friends who we have mutual friends who have tried to get on late night writing and stuff. You just send in a sample of like sketches you've written. For the game show, it was pretty formatted. It was like write the questions, write some jokes,
Okay.
write the answer, write like where all this stuff would tie in. Basically, write an episode.
Okay.
And then for like late night to be a writer, it's like write sketches, write monologue. It's everything that the show could possibly need. They want to see a sample of what you could bring to the table.
Okay. Let's end with you tell me your bizarre LA experience stories. I know there's one that involves a dead body.
I saw a dead body. This was like 2 weeks ago. I saw a dead body 2 weeks ago. This isn't even a long time.
Is this your first dead body outside of a funeral?
No.
Oh, okay.
I saw a dead body in a hotel one time when I was 19.
Really?
Yeah. Old guy died.
Just when you were working in, you had to do.
They made me go to the room.
Really?
Yeah.
You discovered the dead body?
No. My boss discovered it, and then he made me go discover it.
It was a prank?
Not a prank.
While we're waiting for them to come get the dead body was...
Pretty much. Like, they thought the old guy was going to die, and then he wasn't, like, responding. He was supposed to check out, and it was, like, 3 p.m. Supposed to check out at 11, and they're like, he's not answering. He's do not disturb. And they're like, Josh, go up there. And I'm like, he's for sure dead. They're like, you got to check.
Right.
And I was like, why don't you go check? And they're like, it's your job.
You're the
I was
low
like
man on the totem pole.
I was like the runner. I like
Right.
ran amenities and stuff. So like I was already on like
Runner/body checker.
Yeah. And I was like, yep, that's a dead body. And I'm going home because I was like super mortified by it. I was like, I was like crying. I was like, I'm going home.
You should have applied for some kind of like workman's compensation because you've been forever altered by that.
I tried. He bought me like a steak dinner.
Oh. Oh.
Like, probably, I was 19. He was like, "You want to go to eat today?" And I was like, "All right."
Make it feel better with a steak.
I know.
So what was the LA dead body?
It was just like laying in the street. I was. That's how much compassion we have in LA. Like, I don't know, this is a heroin ass junkie. I've seen a couple dead junkies, but this one was like way up close. Wow. I was looking for parking in downtown LA. I was going to lunch,
and of course, the one empty spot was filled with a dead body.
But
fucking LA.
There's like a guy laying like on the curb, like half on the curb, half not on the curb,
right?
And just like dead. And this lady in a polo shirt and like a walkie. You could tell she wasn't like an EMT, like a full EMT. I think her job was just check for dead bodies in downtown LA, because that's where all the junkies hang out, like that area. So she just goes, and I'm at a red light, so I'm watching this whole thing. So I'm like, that's a fucking dead body. She walks up, she touches his neck, lifts his arm, and then just grabs her walkie to like call it in.
Got another one.
Yep. Basically, she was just like, yep. And I was like, that is the person's job.
How desensitized do you have to be just
body
to be
outside finder
verifying bodies?
Yeah.
Is that person acting, or are they really dead?
Are they dead, or are they just need to be revived? And then she just called that in, and I was like, oh no.
Maybe they just got the part and they fainted. I don't know.
Heroin's cool.
Jeez. How bad is it? Because I've heard Rogan on his podcast talking a lot about it, and you can find bits and pieces of news about the homelessness.
So much homeless people. Like downtown LA is huge for it, but like any underpass, there's tents. Anywhere you drive, any underpass, like here, like in downtown St. Paul, there's a couple tents.
It's getting worse here.
Yeah,
I see it. Especially doing the job I do now.
I can't be okay with you guys saying it's bad here, because it's like, oh, there's only 3 tents there. That area, that'd be a camp where I live. There'd be shit in the streets.
Is it really like a?
I've never seen shit. I live in an okay area, so I don't see shit in the streets. But I've seen shit in the streets. And
do you drive by or have gone through those areas where it's worse?
Yeah, where it's super bad homelessness. I saw it was right by the Hollywood Improv, like 3 blocks away. There's like a row of like 10 tents, and this car pulled up, and everybody ran to the car because obviously a drug dealer.
Okay.
9 at night, and Morgan was with me, and her small town Minnesota. She's like, "Look, someone's bringing them food." Like she was like, "See, there's compassion." I go, "That guy's not bringing anyone food."
Little small vials of food.
Yeah.
Little packets of.
I was like, "Yeah, they're gonna eat that food with a spoon, but use a syringe." And she was like, "Holy shit, that is a person just selling all those homeless people heroin." I go, "Yeah, it is."
It's a funny bit, dude.
What'd you think it was?
Don't forget that.
Yeah, there's just people dropping off sandwiches. No, there's not. This town is heartless.
Right.
No one got sandwich money.
Holy fuck, dude.
Gas is super expensive in LA too.
What's a gallon of gas?
Like $3.70. It's like $2.50 here.
I paid $3.19 for it. I run premium, but.
Oh yeah. See, premium $4.20.
Okay.
Yeah, $4.20, bro.
Anything else as far as?
Hey, guys, follow me on Instagram at Josh F Comedy.
Can 20,000 of you?
Yeah, if a third of the people listen to this spot, if you think that someone else is going to take your spot following me, don't. I post a lot of pictures of sandwiches and pizza. I eat a lot of tacos.
Do I follow you on Instagram?
Maybe, I don't know. You don't follow me on any social media.
I just.
You've deleted me off Facebook like 15 times.
I've deleted my Facebook like 15 times.
No, you deleted me a couple times, and they said I deleted you because you weren't into what I'm into. Also, your girlfriend deletes me all the time too.
Does she?
I mean, I don't request her anymore.
Okay, fair enough.
Her and Tommy Thompson's wife deletes me every time I see her. She's like, "Oh, I'll add you again," and then she deletes me like the next day, which I'm cool with.
19,000 more.
Yeah, Josh F Comedy, guys. Josh F Comedy. I ate a lot of tacos from taco shops. I ate a lot of street food. That's what LA is cool for, is street
That's
food.
gonna be great for your shitting problem.
I know. There's a lot of like vendors that are like just have flat tops outside of like a 7-Eleven parking lot and make like sandwiches and tacos, and they're all so good.
Really?
Yeah, I'm super into street food.
Until the food poisoning kicks in.
I haven't gotten it yet.
Really?
I've gotten food poisoning from restaurants.
The only time I've ever been to California was San Diego, and I went there to transport drugs. Like we flew in and we were gonna.
Oh, did you go to TJ?
No. It came to us in San Diego.
Oh, cool.
So the method was, this is when I lived in Missouri, so we'd fly from St. Louis to San Diego.
You did the easy part.
Yeah. And then we get it. And this is pre 9/11, so it was much easier to transport.
Oh, it'd probably be easier now because you're white. Like right at 9/11?
There's a lot more drug dogs and shit going down there. But then we'd take a Greyhound bus back for the drugs. But then I'd always get.
You said take a Greyhound, you can even rent a car.
You're carrying lots of pounds of drugs.
You rent a car for like $30 a day.
It was just easier there because you didn't have to drive. That's the hard part. If you're not driving, no one's pulling over the Greyhound bus. Well, at least not then.
Yeah.
To inspect it for drugs.
That's true.
But I'd eat street tacos there, and I always get the shits every single time. It's fucking delicious, though. It's totally like I'm gonna shit all over in the hotel.
There's this place.
I'm gonna do it
right in Eagle Rock, which is right by my house, and it's on the way home from the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory, and like anything in Hollywood, I have to drive through this area. There's a 7-Eleven, and there's a parking lot, and he has the big spit of like El Pastor with like a blowtorch heat lamp that just like fire cooks it.
Nice.
And a quesadilla, which he puts at least 1 pound of meat in, is $6.
Holy shit!
And that's my anytime I have a good show stop.
Fuck, you can live off that. That's good.
You get
$6 meal.
You get it home. The grease is already eaten through the paper plate that they have.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, bag's all wet. It's the best.
Any last message for the listeners as far as besides following you on fucking Instagram?
Hey guys, move to LA. It's not as expensive or as scary as everybody makes it seem. Everybody makes it seem like it's so horrifying, and I have a great time there. I love it there, and it's my home. I abandoned all Minnesota sports teams because ours are great. I'll just keep going the World Series. That's the problem, is
and
that
losing.
Our sports teams keep going to the Super Bowl and the World Series, so their seasons are extended, so it makes traffic worse.
So rough.
I know. I almost went to the World Series last year because an hour before the game, StubHub had tickets for $200. And Morgan, it was like when we just both started working. So she was like, if you spend like some of our last money to go to the fucking World Series, I will kill you.
That seemed $200 for a World Series ticket. Doesn't seem too bad.
Lower level, outfield.
It's not too bad.
I know. If they go again this year, I'm going to go, and then we can just break up.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You're going to break up with her when you make it anyway, so let's keep it real.
Yeah, upgrade, bitch. Taylor Swift will be single.
Thanks for the conversation, Josh.
Thank you, Joey.
All right, there we go. Another episode of the Filter Free America podcast has now entered your ears, for better or for worse. I don't know what you're going to do with the information that you have now. Take it with you, share it, hide it, feel shame, feel pride, whichever one you want to have from this episode. You do it. You do it. But thank you for listening. Thank you for Josh for coming in. I'm pretty sure he flew back to the Twin Cities exclusively just for this. No, he actually came back for a wedding. This is just happenstance or whatever. But whatever. I love Josh to death, regardless of his speech impediment. I'm not going to hold that against him. But I am have to wring out the sponge of my microphones now because they're so fucking slobbery. I bet your ears feel a little bit wet after that episode. Do your ears feel like a little bit of moisture has built up in there? A little bit of Josh slobber? Whatever. He's a wonderful human being. I love him to death. And I only pick on him because I love him. But thank you, listeners. I hope you enjoyed that. A lot of cool little stories about the LA comedy scene there, a little behind the curtain, if you will. Did we learn anything from this episode? I don't know. If you're a comic, maybe you learned something from it. Maybe you took some information that you can apply in your next move, regardless if it's LA or wherever else you're going. I think we all learned that the most important lesson here is make sure your uncle is Louie Anderson, right? No, I'm kidding. Josh works very hard at his comedy, and again, it was a secret. He did it the right way. He didn't come out slinging the Louie Anderson dick, which is a weird reference to make, but he grinded it out. He went to open mics, did his time, worked his way up, put together an act, and now he seems to still be climbing and doing well. So bless him. Josh, hurry up and get famous so I don't have to work so hard and I can just go open for you around the country. I would really appreciate that. Anything else? Nah, that's it. All right, guys. Make sure you spay and neuter your pets and children. Make sure you keep seeking the truth. Always seek the truth, regardless of what that truth is. Take care of each other. Take care of your uncle. That's the lesson right there. Take care of your uncle, because you never know how helpful your uncle is going to be in life, right? Regardless if your uncle is Louie Anderson or not, he may be helpful to you. Okay? He might. Okay? Now, some of you may have an uncle that touches you at night, and that uncle probably not as helpful as some other uncles. Okay? But for the good uncles, be nice to them. Okay? Not the ones that diddle you, the ones that like play catch with you or take you to ball games and shit. Be nice to those uncles. Okay? Because they could help you along the way somewhere in life. Whatever. This is a very strange ending to this episode, but whatever. Sometimes I just ramble. It's what I do. I feel like talking. I'm in here. I'm in a fucking studio with two goddamn stakes snaring me down. I'm going to talk some retarded shit sometimes. There we go. I used retarded twice in this episode. Probably not going to have this podcast much longer. It's going to get canceled. Whatever. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I will talk to you in the next episode of Filter Free America. Bye-bye.
Well, filter-free America is where I wanna be. Arriving on the shining black shores of oil-soaked Lady Liberty, with justice not just blind, but deaf, dumb, and unkind. Thank God I'm filter-free. It's filter-free America.
Motherfucker!